the British public were asked their opinion on government spending, I'm sure they would want it to be on schools, education, hospitals, rather than on military spending.
How do we feel safe in our neighbourhoods? We need police officers. We need park wardens. We need old people to feel safe in their homes. There are still huge challenges on our housing estates and tower blocks across every major neighbourhood in this country. We need investment in the services we rely on when we use the tube or the transport system or we go to hospital. We need jobs. Hard then to understand how he would spend 100 billion on security for a nuclear weapon, but not the money that we need on that basic security that brings dignity to people in their neighbourhoods, in their homes, in their family life. Well, Tottenham is a community of communities. People have come from all over the world and all over the UK to make a life and a home here. And they've come often escaping hardship, escaping dictatorship, escaping war or conflict, or economic strife. So above all, I think they want peace, they want stability, they want security.
One of the key things would be trying to improve and increase our outreach work so that students get the opportunity not only to enjoy a safe and secure environment within school, but to learn more about what's going on in their local community. And it's really important that they understand that they've got a place out in society as well. One of the other things I'd like to spend additional funding on is helping those students who really have a tough time outside school. And so anything we can do to help their home life, to help their circumstances at home, to help their families, then ultimately that will help their education improve. And thirdly, help them broaden their horizons in terms of further education and moving out and going beyond school and taking their place as grown-ups in society.
I would try and get a peaceful resolution in a variety of places, particularly in the Middle East. I think that would save us a lot of money. Investing in education, investing in young people, in that sense does build for a more peaceful world, a more secure world, because you're encouraging students to build cross-international cooperation, because it encourages you to be tolerant. I think investment in young people to get into education and to get jobs gets growth for the economy, but actually it invests in our young people, which is really important, so they're not on the streets struggling to find work in poverty.
Yeah, well, the amount of money we understand the world spends on defence, about £149 per person. I mean, in terms of the kind of work our people do, which is telecommunications, postal and that, you could equip the whole world with internet access, and that would enable all sorts of communities to communicate with each other, which increase understanding. So that's just one idea. And well, we've seen some changes in terms of advertising now. You know, you can be watching your MTV and it pops up that there's 10,000 children today will die of starvation, but also with the 24/7 world in which we live, in terms of the role of news channels, it's, you know, there's a thirst and a hunger to find out. We've seen the case in India, you know, women's rights issues in India, about what's happening there in terms of attacks on women. People are much more conscious now than they were in previous generations of you know, the certain fundamental human rights that people have, and they should be international. And that money could be better spent on things like you know, improved internet access and improving communication. You know, they're the kind of things that we'd like to see that money spent on. You know, and that, you know, communication is absolutely crucial and vital to the development of our planet.
I'm faced sometimes with physical wounds that people have themselves endured. We do definitely see very strong evidence of that global conflict, both in the individuals who come and see us from time to time from areas where there have been terrible wars, but also people come with very strong histories of families often being decimated by armed conflict, so losing children, losing husbands. And that does certainly delay their ability to adapt. Well, I would very strongly wish to spend a lot more money on community-based care, on looking after people closer to their homes, which needs a lot of investment in primary care. I would say that we should not be closing small, efficient, effective local hospitals like our local hospital Lewisham. And I think we should be spending more on mental health care. Or clearly, in my view, we should take it from the defence budget. But it also detracts hugely from, in many ways, the not only the health of our nation, but the happiness of our nation, because we need to be investing more in our young people and on their opportunities, and their opportunities are increasingly curtailed. And that's because of economic factors.
I think there are three areas where I would reallocate resources. The first is in ensuring the promises made on the aid budgets, where they committed something like $250 billion a year as an aid programme. That stands at about $125 billion. And so I'd want at least $125 billion to make that shortfall up. The second area and the third area are both linked to one of the big issues of our time, which is climate change and environmental degradation. And the first of those is to support the financing of adaptation processes to adapt to climate change, as well as mitigating climate change through renewable energy in the poorest countries of the world. For them to be able to adapt to climate change is going to cost something in the region of about $200 billion a year. And the third area, I think, is a big global issue, and certainly would eat into the $1 trillion US dollars of armament spending, and that is the whole question of developing a green economy for the world, which will actually create a more sustainable planet and a more sustainable future for the people on the planet into the future. And that will cost a huge amount of developing that new green economy and moving away from the old carbon economy. There are many parts of the world where CAFOD works, where people are suffering because of the conflicts that are taking place. And what we can see there is a proliferation of small arms. We can see armies and militias working with impunity. We can see issues like rape and violence against women as a weapon of war. And we can see at the root of it a sense of the resources being up for grabs and the poverty of the people in that area. So removing conflict, removing some of the access to weapons and some of the underlying causes of conflict would no doubt increase the ability of those communities to move and arrive from poverty.
I would add to the $1.7 trillion in defense all the subsidies that go to a warlike economy. I would add to it all the security systems against human beings being institutionalized in the name of avoiding terror. Add all of this budget up. It's trillions and trillions and trillions. What could we be doing with that money? Creating real living economies that work for people and the planet. Shaping real living democracy where every person can participate in making sure we heal the planet, that no person goes hungry, no child goes thirsty, or without schooling, or without health care. It is so easy when we realize how much money is being wasted on the wrong things. There are enough good things to do for which money is needed.